Okay, let's go through the integrated marketing system known as the IMS. This is my program. In a nutshell, it is a CRM, customer relation management program, with a ton of features, completely modular. Anything you can think of, we can bolt into this system. If it's not already created, we have a development team that can plug it in pretty easily. It has so many features. We're going to go through a lot of it. I want to show you how this works. It is the back end that does all the automation, lead nurturing. You can do things like, sales reports. So if you have different salespeople, maybe different pre-planning agents or whatever the case might be, you can track them on a specific individual basis. You can communicate with customers, prospects through the program, either by email or by text. It's got a landing page builder with funnel steps. So you start off with step one, here's your landing page. What's step two, step three, automations behind the scenes. We'll get into it all. This program is amazing. What it did for me is, over the years, we've gone from Salesforce, when I worked at FrontRunner and Fueltech, that's what we used as our program, very expensive, somewhat customizable, but everything costs a lot of money. When I started up Aliado in 2016, I used a program called Insightly. It was a CRM, very basic features. It was pretty much free, but it did, as an agency, it did hit on things that we needed to complete. Our daily tasks and to keep us tracking and all that stuff. I switched over to another CRM, I switched over to another CRM, and then finally I went to HubSpot. And HubSpot caught me because it had the features I was looking for to start with, and it wasn't overly expensive. I mean, it was, $400 or $500 US a month, but looking at, tracking emails, and when one of our employees sends an email to a customer, it automatically puts it into the system. I mean, all those things have value to me. But what really hit me hard was as I was adding new features, and it wasn't like I had a big list of features, but maybe I wanted to have one item that I wanted to have added to HubSpot. They were nailing me with, you got to go with this package, which is going to be, $800 Canadian more a month. And I'm like, but I only want this one piece. And they're like, no, that's the way it works. You got to go to the marketing professional. You got to go to this elite enterprise level. And it ended up, at the end of the day, my total bill was about $4,000 a month for HubSpot. And I was using maybe 6 or 7 features of HubSpot, but certainly in my idea of the value, I wasn't getting $4,000 a month worth out of it. Sure, I probably could have expanded on things. I could have probably did other items that maybe I've already included in the system. But then I looked at it and said, okay, this is ridiculous. And I got this IMS program, and it drastically knocked down my costs. It includes so many features right out of the base system. And then if you want a specific feature, we just add it. You don't add an entire package of other features you don't need. You add individual items. And I'll use an example. I was doing a demo the other day with a prospective customer, and they're using HubSpot, and he said that he wanted to add a custom domain. So he wanted a domain name special for a landing page that's in HubSpot, and so that when they type in this URL, up comes the landing page, and he could track hits and all that stuff. It ended up costing him, because he had to add a package that allowed the custom domain $800 a month more Canadian, just to add a custom domain. The same task and the same thing he wants in the IMS, technically free. You can go down under settings, and you can go to custom domains and add your own domain. All you have to do is know how to set up a DNS entry in your domain, which again, for the people on this video, I wouldn't expect you to know how to do it or do it. It would be us doing it for you. But there it is. Like I've got in my Aliado marketing, I've got 2 custom domains. It's unlimited. It's free. It doesn't cost extra. And that's what I love about this program is it's not nickeling and diming me. It's providing me with value and the things that I want. And there are so many things that I want more. It's just a matter of time on how to do it. So here we are. We're logged in. It's web-based. So you log into my ims.aliadomarketing.com URL. And this is a dashboard. And this is completely customizable. You can change it. You can create your own dashboard if you want. But this one in particular provides me with my tasks that I have on the go, my conversion rate for sales. So right now we're at a 43.33% conversion rate over the last 30 days, my value of opportunities, my statuses, my funnels, my lead sources, where are the leads coming from. It's pulling a Google Analytics report so I can see, over the last 12 months we've had 5,400 visitors to our website. Here's the, I can track, all kinds of things. As much as I want to include or as little as I want to include in the dashboard, it's all there. But I can also do things like show me the conversation. Now I can filter this to say, show me only my chat assigned to a specific person, or maybe a chat or whatever that's unassigned. I could say, you know what, I want to look at the message channels as text only. I want to see what's going on, or live chat. So we'll get into all this. WhatsApp. All these things can actually help filter down. So I can look and say, okay, look at all these communications coming in and the times that they happened, and then I can actually see the entire history of the chat. So here we have Scott Leonard. This is a new client of mine that we just signed up. And you can see here, and it also shows a little icon that it was sent. And it should show, if his email program will allow it, that will turn green to say he read it. Now I do have an automation, a workflow, that if somebody gets an email from me and they don't open it within 2 days, I get an internal notification by email stating they haven't opened. The reason why I do that is sometimes I want to make sure that my emails don't go into the spam and junk folder. So I just have a follow-up. I'll send them a quick one. I can actually set up an automatic follow-up that sends them an automatic email 2 days later, whatever I want. So that's what I do in this case. So you can actually track all conversions for all your staff, for just you, for use you in a certain channel. Everything is there. I can look at my calendar. I can say, okay, so this calendar is integrated with my Google Calendar. So everything that, if somebody creates a appointment through my website, it gets added here, and then it gets added to my Google Calendar. If somebody has access to my Google Calendar only and creates an appointment, it then goes from my Google Calendar directly into here. And then actually an instance of that is my phone system for Aliado is completely AI. When you call in, you're going to hear a girl's voice. She sounds human. She talks normal. Everything else, completely AI. And if she books an appointment with you, it actually books it through my Google Calendar, which then transports it into my IMS calendar to say it's confirmed. When these calendar appointments are set up, so this means actually this is an unconfirmed meeting, so there will be automations that go to Olivia John to get them to confirm the appointment. These ones are confirmed, and also automations take place 1 day prior to the appointment, 1 hour prior to the appointment, and 5 minutes prior to the appointment. And in those emails that they receive will be an option to reschedule or to cancel. And if they cancel, then I have additional automations that try and get them to reschedule over the next course of a week or two. So all this completely customizable, all automatically set up for you. But this is exactly how your calendars look. And you can, designate by staff member. So if I say, well, you know what, I want to see exactly what Ramesh is doing. I want to see her calendar. I can do that. So completely optional. Contacts. So back to being a CRM. To start off with, there's what's called Smart List, which is just basically your general list. These are all my contacts. I have 4,661 users, records in my system. So there's contacts, 4,661. So there's no limit with this system. You can have 20,000, 30,000, 500 million. It doesn't matter. There is no limit to the number of users. But in here, I can also create individual smart lists. So maybe I want to look at only my customer list. So based on things that will show you in the contacts, this actually pulls up my contact list, and it also shows me when was the last activity date, what opportunity have we been working on with them, and what's their business name. So the last activity, for example, if there is no activity with Scott Leonard for 2 months, an automatic email goes to him to touch base. Now, it comes from Mike Hepburn. It looks like I wrote it, but it is actually AI sending him an automatic email, and it actually pulls information from his contact, his website, all kinds of areas where I've plugged it in to say, hey, I want you to reach out to Scott 2 months without activity, meaning I haven't actually touched base with him, whatever the case might be. Scott being an active Google Ads client, he's going to get a monthly report from us, or bi-weekly, so he will be constantly contacted. But if a customer who, website client who I don't necessarily contact all the time, or they don't contact us for support, every 2 months we touch base with them. That's all automated. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. But it does give me an idea. Olivia Rose, 2 days ago. Okay. So we know that, 2 days ago we communicated by email. Now on that, we'll go into the actual record. And here is her contact information. So first name, last name, email, phone. It actually does collect date of birth. You don't have to put it in, of course. Where was the contact source from? Well, she was an existing customer when we built this. What kind of contact type? Is she a lead? Is she a customer? Important, especially when we start to select lists. Business name, all the information about them, if it is a business. Company status. So are they a prospect? Are they a customer? Are they canceled? Are they a partner company? This is actually customized. So I actually can add. So I also have a blacklist. So if somebody owed me money and didn't pay me, and I cancel them, I don't certainly want anybody calling them or getting any of my email blasts. Another custom field that I did, industry related. So, I type in funeral home for my funeral home customers, real estate for my real estate customers. Again, when I start to segregate my list, like I just did up there with the Aliado customer list, I might actually pull up my funeral home customer list. So it will pull customers with company status customer and an industry related to funeral home. It makes it easy. I can then email out to that list or whatever I might want to use it for. Also, again, every contact has custom fields. I can add in hundreds and hundreds of custom fields. Like here we have website administration, what's the website URL, who's the provider, what's the admin username, password. We record all this so that when my web team needs to go into the website, we don't have to scrounge around and look for it. We know where it's in their contact. We know I can do what services did they purchase. So here we can look and say, okay, they are in our starter package, our standard package of SEO. Maybe they're in my social media. They're in the Facebook, Instagram. And again, when I start to segregate my list, I can say, hey, show me those that are in the Facebook, Instagram package only. Or show me clients that are not using blogs. And then maybe I send out an email blast. Say, hey, you know what? I know you're not using blogs today. Here's the reasons why you may want to. And maybe it scrounges up new work for us and new revenue. So think about that for your business. If somebody comes in and says, you know what, I'm interested in pre-need information, or maybe I'm downloading that ebook, we then mark it in your system or tag it with a special tag, and then we follow that through a pipeline. And I'll get to the pipeline here in a second. So this is all contact information. Again, it's quite easy. I can look up opportunities that I have for the customer, whether they've closed, whether they've won, all kinds of things. They do have an option. Anytime they get an email, a text, or whatever, they can actually say, do not contact me. And this will update automatically. Hopefully that doesn't happen with customers, but it may happen with prospects. So if you do, let's say, a prospect list and somebody had unsubscribed, it will already be checkmarked for emails, and they won't get it. So you don't have to worry that ends up happening. Opportunities, this is your pipeline. So a pipeline is basically categories of where leads turn into sales. And you start off, with me, I have a new lead category, I have a sales completed, proposal sent category, I have a follow-up set, a waiting on decision, dead deal, not dead closed, just they don't seem to be moving. I got a deal approved, means that they said yes, but I haven't invoiced them. I got closed one, which means they said yes, and I've invoiced them, and then of course I have a closed loss. Each one of these has automations and workflows that happen. So when I set up a new estimate, for example, if a customer says, hey, I want Google Search Network, Google Paid Ads, or I want your Facebook and Instagram professional package, I then create an estimate to the customer, and it automatically creates a lead or an opportunity in my system. If they sign it and agree to it, say, yes, I'm good, let's move ahead, I love it, it automatically moves them from the sales completed proposal right into the deal approved. All this is automated, and then it creates tasks for me, and all tells me to invoice them, and all these things. It informs my team. Hey, you've got a new Google Ads client. So you have an onboarding. It happens all behind the scenes, completely automated. I don't have to sit here and go, now I've got 13 emails I have to write to different people to make things happen. That's why nobody on this call probably, or in this video, but when I send you an estimate and you write back, I love it, let's move ahead, I always say, click the view estimate, click approval, because it does a ton of back-end automations for me. So that's the kind of idea. You can have multiple. So with funeral homes, for example, I do see multiple pipelines. I see your pre-needs. I see contact forms, because they're going to be different potential connection points, right? If somebody came in and said, hey, I want to, a pre-need with you, here's my pre-need form, I filled it out online, well, there may be a different set of sequences that we want than if somebody filled out a contact us form or have a question form. Because to have a question doesn't mean they're actually interested in pre-need. They may be just talking about something about funeral service. But, hey, you know what, they are a lead, not necessarily a hot lead, but, what are we going to do to nurture? What are we going to do as a contact point? Do we ever, every 3 months, we send them an email, say, hey, just checking in, or whatever the case might be. It's completely open, but I see that as having different pipelines for different purposes. So, in my case, I have a sales and a service ticket. I don't use the service ticket anymore, but there's certainly your pipeline. There is a full payment system, invoicing, contracts. As I talked about earlier with estimates, I go to estimates. This is how I do my quotes. So I send all my quotes through this. I set it up. I've got, 8 sent. I got 7 accepted for this amount. I got none declined, and I got 1 that I've actually invoiced. I don't actually invoice through here. I do QuickBooks. Again, I can actually set this up to integrate with QuickBooks. I haven't done that yet, but I can actually say invoice, and it then cycles and creates a customer in QuickBooks and will send the invoice directly through QuickBooks without me touching a single thing. I haven't got there yet for myself just because I don't have a lot of time to do all that, but that's kind of the idea. You can set up all your products, your services, you name it. It's all in here. Purchase order numbers. If you're not a funeral home and you have a subscription system, you want monthly subscriptions. You want to do contracts. I don't want funeral homes thinking that this is a funeral contract, because that's not necessarily what it is. It could, but it's not what it's intended to do. But yeah, absolutely. It does integrate with Stripe, PayPal, all kinds of payment processors. So we can actually do automated payments, or have people, you send the invoice, they actually make the payment. It can all be done directly through this system. Marketing. So here, in the default system, I'm not going to include the social planner. That will be an add-on. But this is actually where you can create and schedule your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Snapchat, your Google Business Profile posts if you wanted to do it yourself. So you can actually do it all within the social planner system, or maybe you assign it to a staff member. Maybe you have a graphic designer or somebody. There is also an approval process. So you can actually, have a post and then actually have it, so they have to approve it before it actually goes out. So here you can see send post for approval, an automatic email goes to who you submit as the approver, and then they get to see it. They can say approve, or they can suggest changes, whatever the case might be. So the social planner is very cool. It is a great add-on, but it does allow you to schedule all your social posts, your reels, your stories, you name it. It can all be done right within the IMS. Emails. So here is actually an email marketing program. This replaces MailChimp and Constant Contact. So, for example, on our funeral home website, I have an ability for people to sign up for your newsletters. If you do newsletters, you can, but the idea is let's collect their information. Again, cold lead, but they're signing up. And then let's email them. We can actually send an email campaign to these people. Now, in here, you can see, okay, I've sent this campaign, CDAP grant, which is our grant that we got from the Canadian government. I sent it out to 128 of my customers. 121 of them were received, and 7 were skipped because of maybe a hard bounce or whatever. But I can actually load more statistics and say, okay, 9% actually clicked it, 47.93% opened it, and 1.65 hard bounce. But here's the key: nobody unsubscribed, so that's good, and it didn't go in anybody's spam folder. Now, if I did have products in the email campaign or whatever, I can actually showcase revenue that I generated. This one didn't have any revenue; it just had a form that if they were interested in more info. But that's basically it. So this is a full email marketing system that and it does. You can actually set up. You see here workflow campaigns. So I can actually set up an email campaign that once I add a new customer, maybe they get automatically assigned to an email marketing campaign, a welcome. So they get a welcome message right away, maybe 3 weeks later they get another automated message saying, how are things going? How do you feel your project manager is working? You can automate that and create a workflow campaign that sends it all automatically. So it's quite cool. Now another piece is you can actually do what's called trigger links. So let's say we want to open a specific activity. So here's different things, but I have one. On page 2, sorry. NFDA landing page. So the page that you viewed, when you clicked that link on my email, which is this URL, it actually does things behind the scenes for me. It notifies me that Scott Miller just opened my email and he clicked the link. And I can do further things with that, but that's what they're called trigger links. Now, I could easily have just pasted NFDA-2024.Aliado marketing, but then it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't track the system wouldn't track anything. So I wanted to do a trigger link on a specific activity. Maybe you do it in a social post. That if this this social post, somebody clicks the pre-planning, boom, let's do something with it. And on that note, I didn't say anything earlier about this, but let's say somebody's on your website and they start filling out the pre-planning form and then they leave. They abandon it. This system can actually record that and then offer a sequence, whatever we decide on, follow-ups to try and get them back to complete the form. So, if you're an SEO customer, you get to see conversions, but you also get to see abandoned conversions. So let's say you have 10 completed forms and 3 abandoned in a month. Well, let's work on that 3. Maybe we can get that down to, they end up, only 1 ends up having it abandoned. And we converted 2 of them into a pre-need sequence. Let's automate. That's why I'm talking about, everybody needs a website. I get that. Everybody has a website. But what does your website do for you? Well, with the IMS bolted in, it does a hell of a lot more. And it actually works to work with your prospects, with your customers. Here's the automation folder. So here's workflows. Just to kind of this is going to get a little complicated for a second, but let's take a look at my sales. It shows you how many's enrolled. So here's a live chat user notification. So what this means is when somebody triggers a live chat on my Aliado website, so customer replies, somebody says hello or yes, I have questions, then it sends an email to the entire staff and it sends me a text. Just because I don't want to miss a chat. Now on that note, this is the chat. Now this isn't triggering anything yet because I haven't wrote, but this is completely AI. Completely AI. I have trained this AI about our services, about our company, about our operating hours, about our staff, so it can answer questions if somebody says, hey, I have a question about SEO, blah, 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 blah. This can actually answer, but at the end of the day, the objective of the AI is to book you an appointment with me. So it knows that, hey, my idea is I want to book an appointment with, get this an appointment for Mike, but I'll answer any questions you have. And as I said earlier, my AI phone system is exactly the same. Professional, human voice, where my phone carrier is actually soon to launch, where we can actually record your voice and use it instead of a default voice. But when I listen to the voice, and please, feel free to call our phone number. It sounds human. Like if you say, and this was my test the other day, hi, I'm calling about search engine optimization. She replied, oh, great, so you're talking about SEO. It knew to shorten it to SEO. I was blown away. If you have a support question, it knows to fill out a support ticket and submits the support ticket into the system. So lots of cool features, but AI is definitely there. But yeah, workflows, this is where the power happens. This is the big piece. So it's unlimited, but it also is probably where it can get a little expensive when you say, hey, I want to do this. I'm thinking of this. Well, I bring in my development team. We build out a workflow and automation. Maybe have to do another modular plugin, whatever the case is. But once it's set up, it's done. You just let it work. Sites. So here is basically different things we can do. So number one is your funnels. This removes the need of having ClickFunnels, which is another service. So I should have said this at the beginning. The one key piece about IMS is it's one subscription. I don't need to have a subscription with this service, this service, this service, this service. Now, it doesn't eliminate them all, but it certainly eliminates a lot of them. I had ClickFunnels. I had MailChimp. I had HubSpot. I just took those three and bundled it into one low-cost monthly fee. So here's the funnel that we have that you've clicked on. So here, we can go in, I can edit the funnel. And again, I don't expect you necessarily to do this, but you do have the ability. I can go in here and, work on any piece that I want. I can save it, I can publish it, whatever the case might be. But I also can, conform to steps. Once you click schedule, you're going to get a thank you, and then you get the thank you message. We can create an A/B test. So maybe I want to change the color of a button, color of text, whatever the case might be. I can include products and product sales in my funnel. It does perform stats, so I can look at my stats and say, okay, how many people came in, how many were unique, how many opted in, how many sales, all kinds of events that we can do. You can encode or include your Facebook pixel code, so it can build your audience. All kinds of things. Automation. So when you've clicked on the funnel, you've taken the first step, we collect a little bit of information about you, and then bang, I can start sending an email saying, hey, you went to the NFDA page, you wanted to learn a bit more about what Mike's doing, or how did you feel? Maybe I just do a survey. Answer these three simple questions, and take a second every time, but how did you feel? I would love to still hear how you feel about where I'm going and your thoughts. But yeah, so this is everything here. There is a new webinar piece coming in, but down here you'll notice this is a webinar kit. This is integrated, but this program allows me to create webinars, and not necessarily just to do them live, but it can do pre-recorded, it can do post-recorded. I can set up a webinar to run today, 6 months from now. It will do all the sign-ups, follow-ups, surveys, everything. But it is a separate third party in this case, but it is integrated into the IMS. So if it's collecting sign-ups, it automatically feeds to your contacts. Again, our funeral home is going to do webinars? Maybe. With Webinar Kit, it is actually an AI system. You just provide it the text and say, hey, I want to do a webinar on pre-planning, and it will build the entire webinar for you. Now, you can go in and adjust it. You can change the verbiage. You can do, backgrounds, whatever the case might be. But that's the thing, the beauty today. A lot of these components can be AI driven. Like this video I'm doing right now, I could have made it through an AI program we use, but I wanted you to see my face and me be real. But there's a lot of really, really cool things. We do integrate websites, so obviously you got a website button. I can do things like, here's my forms. So the forms that we have on the website, here they all are here. And I can look and say, okay, onboarding. Let me look at contact form, CDAP. Actually, I didn't want to do that. I want to do stats. Analyze. So you can look at analyzing your forms. So you see how many submissions you received, on specific forms. I can actually do SurveyMonkey, another program I used to subscribe to. It has surveys completely built into the system. You can make it multi-step. You can pretty it up, or have us build it for you, or have your marketing company build you. All contained within here. Quizzes. We just built an online form for a auto dealership that as they complete the form, the individual saying, I want to buy a car, or I want to sell my car, it actually provides a score, a value that is behind the scenes, and it rates the value of the lead for the dealership, all done through the Quizzes program. Chat widgets, which we talked about. We can actually do live chat on your website. We can do live SMS texting. So if somebody texts you, you can actually have a reply back. The AI can have a complete conversation. You can limit it to the number of responses. When you get into SMS texting within the IMS, it's not free. I mean, it costs pennies, like $10 for 3,000 texts or something. It's not expensive by any stretch. But, or maybe with AI, and this is a big one I find, nobody responds to reviews, positive or negative. Negative, they usually react, but positive. Every review on your Facebook, your Google, should always be replied to. We can actually get AI to do a proper, real response within 2 minutes, if you want to set it at 2 minutes. 10 seconds if you want to set it, 15 minutes, an hour. But the point is, and it doesn't look like AI, it will say, Mike Hepburn, and then it'll write the response. So pretty damn cool that you can actually do, all kinds of AI within the IMS system. Reputation management. So we just talked about reviews. So here it is. So we've had, I've only just played with this a little bit, but I've sent out 4 review requests. Fortunately, I haven't received any back. But you can see who's liked you, who's not, your average rating, all kinds. You can see your latest reviews. Here's who I've sent it actually to as before. We can actually set this up to auto send a review request. So you serve a family. Think about that pipeline. You serve a family. You're finished with the family. Why don't we send a request 2 weeks after you changed the pipeline column to completed, or whatever we name it for you, and then it sends an automatic review request. And link it to either Google, Facebook, whatever, or maybe just an email to you. It can do a lot of cool things, but it can automate it. So you're not having to think about it. It automatically does a review response. Perfect. Do you want it to notify you if it's a 2-star or 1-star rating? Absolutely. All that can be done. So it's very, very, very cool. And then last but not least, we have full reporting. So remember we talked about, pipelines and stuff. So in my business, it's just me. I'm sales. But let's say you're a funeral home and you have 4 funeral directors, 4 pre-need counselors, and you want to track how they are doing. Now, I appreciate you don't have to use a leaderboard. I got 8 points for whatever purpose for the last month. But here you can look at it. We can do emails. How many were sent? How many delivered? How many clicked? I didn't actually have anything to click in a text. But how many emails? How many opened? I can break it down by user. So I can say, hey, what did John Smith, how is he doing? What's his conversion rate? See, I can break it down by individuals. So, I can break it down by time. Show me the last 6 months. What's his conversion rate? How many new leads is he generating? All this. This is pulling right from your pipeline. Same with this. How many text messages are they sending? My staff, for example, I always like to see how many emails. Because emails are, it's a touch point, but are they sending emails? And if they are sending email, how many are clicked? How many are being opened? Are they being ignored? Phone calls. We can actually set up, a couple of my clients, we use CallRail, but we can actually set up phone numbers that redirect to another number automatically, but that number gets recorded. So let's say you're doing a Google Ads campaign, we use a number, nobody cares about the phone number these days. Nobody's writing it down going, I got to remember it, because they just click a button. It's on their mobile, whatever. And then it directs to your actual phone line, or maybe we do it on your website. That way we can track what calls are coming in. I had somebody the other day, we're doing Google Ads with this company, but I don't know how many phone calls came from the Google Ad. It just says, my Google Analytics just says conversions, 37. What is that? We can break it all out. The IMS has that capability. And then if you need support, it's just a form, click away, you can just submit your name and your information if you want, and hit submit support, screenshot. So you're always, if you need help, it's always right there. So that basically in a nutshell is the IMS program. It is very, very flexible. It is very customizable. But on the base, it's a CRM. It'll nurture your leads. It'll take everything that you need to do to generate new revenue for your business. So with that being said, again, there is a button. Schedule a call. I will be happy to answer any of your questions. Send an email, send a text, whatever the case might be. But let's get the website working for you. Thanks, guys.